Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Tank be chopping, and I'm back with another haircut tutorial. Alright guys, so what y'all see me doing right here is I'm actually combing out my client's hair. As you can see, he does have some curls on top, a little bit of waves going. So what I want to do is I want to make sure I comb all that out. So after I combed it out, I decided to brush my client's hair down, and the reason for that is he doesn't have like really tight curls or tight waves. So if I just combed it out and then started cutting, it probably would have patched my client. So I want to make sure that I don't do that. So that's why I'm brushing the hair into place. That way it lays down a little better. Alright, so now I got my number 3 on my Stylecraft Rebel, and what I'm doing is I'm just going with the grain, paying real close attention to the growth pattern. That way I can actually go with that pattern. That way I don't leave any patches or take too much hair off of my client. And you're gonna see me do this all around the top of the head. And once I get to that crown area, you gotta really pay a lot of attention. You gotta really go the way the hair grows, because like I said guys, if you don't, you will patch your client up, and obviously that's not something I'm trying to do, and that's not something you want to do, because I'm sure the clients ain't gonna be happy if that happens. So as you can see right there in the crown area, I'm really paying attention and just following the way the hair grows. That way I don't take too much hair off. So sometimes what you can do is go over it with a longer guard, but I decided just to go over it with my number 3 guard. And now what I'm doing on the sides is I'm prepping the sides just so I can get like an even playing field on the sides. So I got my number 4 on my clipper, and I'm going over the side of my client's head, basically just debulking everything, coming right to that parietal ridge area, and then I'm using a slight flick out motion. And I'm gonna do this all the way around the head. Once again guys, I'm doing this because I want to debulk the side of my client's head and give myself a level playing field. And don't try to spend too much time doing this, because like you're gonna go in and fade it anyways. So sometimes I overdo it. I'm just trying to be really perfect with it, and I catch myself doing that a lot when I'm doing videos. But don't overthink it, just do it, you know what I'm saying? So now what I'm doing here guys, I have my number 2 guard on my clipper, and I'm coming with the grain, with the growth pattern. That way you know, it's just another debulking technique. So since he has a number 3 on top with the grain, a number 2 on the sides is basically gonna help me fade the sides into the top a little easier. And once again guys, you got to pay real close attention to detail and make sure you're going with the grain on the sides. Alright guys, so now I got my trimmer in my hand. All I'm doing is I'm setting in my bald guideline. These are the Babyliss Low Pro FX. And I'm just setting my line in, leaving a little bit of hair in the C-cup area. You know, I am going to be doing that ghost line. I do tend to do that a lot, you know what I'm saying? I just like the way it looks a little better, you know, so that's the reason for me doing it. And then once again, guys, once I get to the back of my client's head, I am going to drop my fade down, you know, more towards that occipital area. And the reason why I do that is I just like for my fades to be dropped down on the back a little bit. I just feel that it contours the head a little better. And once again guys, you don't have to spend too much time doing this. Just set in your line and move on. A lot of people try to be like really perfect. I'm not saying it doesn't have to be a straight line, but it don't have to be like the straightest of lines. It doesn't have to be like an edge up, you know what I'm saying? Like just give yourself a nice little line. That way you can go ahead and see what's there and then move on. So now I got my shaver in my hands, and what I'm doing is I'm getting all the sides down the skin. So everything I went over with my trimmer, I'm going over with my shaver. And the closer I get to that guideline, I'm using a slight flick out motion, and I'm relieving some pressure. And the reason why I'm doing that is I don't want to make this bald guideline too hard to take out. And if you go all the way up to that line, pushing with the same pressure all the way, you know, from the bottom to the top, it's gonna make that line harder to take out. And I don't want to make this haircut harder on myself, so that's the reason why I use a flick out motion and then start relieving some pressure. What you can do also is you can actually come, you know, the closer you get to that line, just stop and then work your way down with the shaver, and that'll help leave a softer line also. Alright guys, so now we actually gonna get into some of the fade work. I'm going in with my Stylecraft Rebel. I said that weird. I'm going in with my Stylecraft Rebel. I have my taper arm. I said that weird because I never say taper arm. I have my lever all the way open and I'm coming up a section. I'm coming up about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. Remember guys, that's just my normal situation. Not situation, that's the wrong word for what I'm trying to say. That's my normal strategies when I'm cutting hair. You know what I'm saying? I go in with my lever open, I come up about 3/4 of an inch or so, and then as you saw me do right there, I close my lever halfway and I'm coming halfway into this section, and then I'm gonna close my lever notch by notch, and every time I close my lever, I'm gonna work my way down just a little bit, so by the time my lever is all the way closed, I should be at the bottom of that line. And then remember guys, this may or may not get that line completely out, and if it doesn't, that's perfectly fine. You can always come back in with the trimmers if needed. So as you can see, it's not taking that line completely out. And once again, guys, that's perfectly fine. You can sit there and play with it a little bit if you need to, but just know that sometimes you are gonna have to go back in with the trimmer just to get that line out. So now I got my number 1 guard on my clipper. My lever is all the way open, making this a 1.5, and I'm coming up another section. Same thing as my previous section, guys. I'm coming up about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch using a slight flick out motion. I'm gonna set this section in, and then I'm gonna close my lever all the way and start attacking that line at the bottom of this section. So here is my 1 with the lever closed. And as you can see, it's gonna soften this line up. It's not gonna take it out completely. I'm gonna have to go in with my 0 guard or my 1/16 guard, but I'm just softening this line, doing a little bit of detail work in this section. That way, you know, this section looks nice and blended before I actually move on. So here is my 1/16 guard. My lever is halfway open. And I'm just barely coming into that section, really just trying to work at that line. I'm really not trying to take this fade any higher than what I'm doing now, and I'm not trying to take that line up, so I'm just barely tapping that line, and then I'm closing my lever, and I'm doing the same thing, coming right to that line, flicking at that line, trying to get that line to come out without bringing this fade up. Here is my 1.5 guard. My lever is all the way open, and I'm doing the same thing, guys. I'm coming up another section using more of a flick out motion since I am closer to that parietal area, and I don't want to leave this fade looking too round. So I set in my next guideline, close my lever, and it did basically take out that bottom line. And now I'm going in with my number 3 guard, and I'm just attacking the top of this fade. And for the most part, this should bring this fade together. I may have to do some more detail work. By the way, that was my 3 open. Now I closed my 3, and I'm coming right below what I just did. And like I said, this should bring everything together. I'm going in with my 2, you know, my bad. I forgot. I know I did my 2 earlier, but I did it with the grain. So when you do a 2 with the grain, it leaves it a little longer than doing it against the grain. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm going in with my number 2 guard against the grain, finishing off this fade. And I know I spoke a little too soon earlier and said I was finishing my fade with my number 3. That was my bad. I misspoke. I forgot that I did the number 2 guard. My bad. But I'm going in with that 2 guard, just flicking at these lines, trying to get rid of all these dark areas. And now what you see me doing is I'm going with the grain. And this is basically some detailing work because my fade is basically there. Now I just got to clean it up and just do some more lever play, you know, going with the grain with my 1.5 now. And like I said, this is all detail work, just detailing the fade that's already there. This is my number 1 guard, and I'm going to be doing some lever play in this area right here, and basically any area that I see that looks dark, you know, more towards the bottom of this fade, I'm messing with. And the reason why I say the bottom of this fade is if I would have took that one up higher where I see some discrepancies, it would have created another line. So that's why I said the bottom of this fade. And now I'm doing the same thing that I just did with that 1 guard. I'm doing the same thing but with my 1/16 guard, moving myself a little lower. So people have been asking me about the Stylecraft Rebel, if I think it's worth it, and my opinion right now is it's a good clipper. Like, it is a little louder than I would like. and it is a little lighter than I would like, but it's got power. I love the blade on it. It's just working really good for me right now, and I really like it. And people are asking me, is it my go-to clipper right now? And I don't know. I'm using a lot of clippers right now. It is one of my daily clippers that's in my rotation, and I've been using it a lot. I appreciate you, Austin from Stylecraft and Gamma, for sending your boy this clipper. If you want to order this clipper, guys, you can use my discount code TANK10 on the Stylecraft website. The website is in my description, so you can click the link in my description. And once again, guys, you can use my discount code TANK10, save yourself a little bit of money. Also, if you like brushes, like the little brushes that I'm using there, this Stylecraft brush is this brush is the most clutch brush that I've ever had. Probably the best brush I've ever used. So if you need you a good brush, make sure you copy one on their website and use my code TANK10. Alright, so now I'm attacking that bottom line. The line that I told you I didn't quite get out earlier. I'm going in with my trimmers and trying to get rid of that line. And I did create a subtle line right above where I was taking out the line right now. And I'm gonna have to go back in with my clipper closed to get that line completely out. And that happens sometimes, guys. Don't sweat it. Sometimes you accidentally, bring the fade a little higher, or when you're taking out a line, you create another line. But just know that you can always go back and clean that up and just barely hit them lines. Use a lot of corners of your blade. That way you don't take too much hair off. Shout out to my client John, man. This is actually my second time cutting his hair for YouTube. I've cut his hair actually one time for like a little promotional video I was doing. I did a taper on him one time before, and now he's getting a fade, so I decided to record it for YouTube. And I hope y'all like this video, guys. But now we're moving on to the edge up. As you can see, I started in the middle of my client's forehead, setting my initial guideline, and I just started working my way over till I reached that vertical bar. And with his hair, like I said, he's got curly hair, he's got some waves in there. So you got to keep brushing that hair down. That way you can actually see what is overhang and, see that hairline, sharper when you comb it and you hit that line. What you can also do is, I didn't show on camera, but you can actually go over the front with a smaller guard. So for instance, you could use, since I did a 3 with the grain, you could do like a 2 or 2.5 with the grain just in that front area. Or you could have actually went against the grain with like a 4 and just really floated that clipper, right to where that hairline is, and that would have took that down a little bit, and it helped you line them up a little easier. So now that my client is nice and edged up on this side of the haircut, it lets me see this fade a little better, and I can actually go back in detail and do some more cleanup work, and that's what I'm doing now. Alright, guys, so now that the left side is done, I'm moving on to the right side, and as you can see, I'm using a different clipper. You know how your boy does it, man, the clipper guru, you know what I'm saying? So I decided to use my Babyliss Low Pro FX on this side, and no particular reason, just because I wanted to show y'all that you can achieve the same look using 2 different clippers. And I don't want to say that you don't need the best clippers or good clippers. You need good clippers, right? But a lot of times it's the barber who's using the clipper. But if you have a good clipper in your hand, it makes your job a little easier. So I don't know why I said but like I was saying, I just wanted to show y'all that you can achieve the same look with different clippers. And I'm actually using the Babyliss premium guards on this side of the cut. And like I said, I just wanted to show y'all your boy can get down with any guards, any clippers. This is what I do, man. Let's go. But just for reference, guys, I am doing the same exact steps that I did on the opposite side. I'm just doing them on this side, doing the same thing. I did speed this part of the video up. I didn't want this video to be too long. And yeah, guys, that's basically it. I'm just working this side of the haircut, blending it all together, doing the same thing I did on the opposite side, just trying to make it come together, you know what I'm saying? And as you can see here, I'm taking out that bottom line with my trimmer. And then we're gonna go in and detail some more. And this is also one of the clippers that's in my daily rotation. So yeah, just so y'all know, like I like these clippers also. I do not have a discount code for those clippers. They did just release at BarberCon, like a pre-release type thing, so they're sold out. But they will be releasing in February if you're interested. The Low Pro FX trimmer and clipper combo will be releasing in February. So y'all keep your eyes open. Alright, so now I'm going in and I'm lining up the opposite side of my client's head using a different trimmer just because I have so much stuff on my station and I like to use different tools. I don't like to get bored. I like to show y'all that I am the clipper guru. It is what it is, man. Let's go. But nonetheless, as you can see, I'm lining my client up, and then I'm gonna actually add some enhancements in my client's haircut also.
Damn it, Tito. Another one?
So this side of the, I don't know why I said that weird. I've been saying a lot of things weird lately. You know what it is, man? My wife told me that I stutter a lot when I record, so I've been being really self-conscious about the situation, about my stutters. So it's like I say things weird now, trying not to stutter, and I just need to do what I do, man. It is what it is. But thank you, Tanya, for pointing out that I stutter. It is what it is, though. Let's go. All right, guys, but now I'm going back in and I'm just detailing this side of my client's head a little more. I lined them up. I saw that I needed some more cleanup work, so I just went back in and detailed it. Like I said, guys, I like to line up my client, and that helps me see the side of the fade a little better. All right, so now what I'm doing, guys, I'm using the No Drip from Tune 45. I'm just spraying my client's hairline with this semi-permanent dye. And it's just really taking this haircut to the next level, you know what I'm saying, making these lines look a little sharper, a little darker, and I just feel it takes that haircut to the next level, and it looks nice to me. Like, some people don't like it, but I like doing it, and my clients like it, so I'm going to continue to do it. All right, so now what I'm doing is I'm spraying my client with some hairspray, and I'm going over the hairline one more time with some hair fibers. And the reason why I'm doing that is I feel that it makes the hairline look a little more natural. So I laid paint on there, and then I go back in with the hair fibers, and then I'm gonna lock these hair fibers in with some more hairspray. And like I said, I just feel that it gives it a more natural look. So as you can see, I'm going back in with the hairspray, and now I'm gonna be using the Gold FX blow dryer from Babyliss, you know, making sure that's all nice and dry. And then I'm gonna go back in and reline up my client, make sure I get all these excess little fibers away, and just make sure it's as sharp as we can possibly get it. And I've been doing this for a good amount of time now. I saw, like I said it in my previous video and the video before that, I saw S-Craft doing it, so I decided to do it, and I like the look that it gives my clients, so I just continue doing it, guys. Shout out to my boy S-Craft for basically putting me on game. All right, so now we're moving on to the razor work, and all I'm doing is lining up everything that I do with my trimmer, making these lines super sharp, making these lines pop. And as you can see, the fade is there, the lineup is there. I'm just cleaning everything up, making it, you know, making it super sharp. And remember, guys, you do want to make sure that you're stretching that skin nice and tight. That way you don't nick your client. And if you're interested in this razor, I've always had people ask me about this razor. I have the link in my description. You could buy it from Amazon. That's the only link that I have. I don't even know where else you can find this razor. But nonetheless, guys, it's there. All right, guys, so check it out. This is the before look. This is how my client came into the shop looking. And this is the after. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this haircut in the comment section. If y'all like this video, please make sure to smash that like button. Also, if you're new to my channel, make sure and subscribe one time for your boy. Remember, guys, if you're in the Houston, Texas area, or if you're going to be in the Houston, Texas area and you want to book an appointment with me, you can go to my website, tangbechopping.com. You can book an appointment there and just put in the little comment section that you want it to be for YouTube, and I'm going to see what I can do to record it for YouTube. But once again, guys, I appreciate y'all for watching. That's basically it. Until next time, YouTube, let's go.